Hey guys, what's up? This is What the Tech, and I've been tinkering around the Apple Watch SE for some time now. So here are my thoughts, and here's my full review of it. Let's check it out. So what we have here is the Apple Watch SE, more specifically the Nike version. But for this review, that shouldn't matter at all. They're all pretty much the same. I personally chose the Nike version because I just like to watch faces a little better. For those who may not be aware, the Apple Watch SE version was the other new Apple Watch that Apple unveiled alongside the Series 6 not too long ago. And this version here aims to be the best middle-of-the-road smartwatch or Apple Watch for those who are still kind of on the fence and still trying to level off and see what they should get, or if they even should get one. I would go so far as to say that the Apple Watch SE is actually further from the middle of the road and a lot closer to the Apple Watch Series 6 as opposed to the Series 3 that Apple's been selling for quite some time. And I'm still surprised they do so, actually, given its current age. The Apple Watch SE currently starts at $279 and can go up to $309. That's for the 40mm and the 44mm respectively. Comparatively, the Apple Watch Series 6 starts at $399 and can go up to $429 again for the same respective sizing. So design-wise, this is going to be relatively quick. It shares the same full-face slim bezel display as it does with the Series 6, which shares it with the Series 5, which shares it with the Series 4. All of which is on top of a slim form factor with a slight bulbous center to press against your skin for a clear reading of your heart rate. Now that isn't really necessarily bad. Watches probably shouldn't go for a whole redesign as often as phones do because they're meant to be, well, they're meant to be timeless. I'm sorry, I just had to. Now when we look specifically at what you're missing out of when you opt for the Apple Watch SE versus the Series 6 or even the subsequent generation Series 5, you're passing up on the always-on display, the Series 6's new blood oxygen monitoring system, the two new colors of either red or blue, and the fact it only comes in aluminum build. So that means no stainless steel versions of the SE. That's it, folks. And let's be honest, the two new watch colors of red or blue are pretty much just for those who want to broadcast the world that I got the brand new Apple Watch Series 6. To add on to that, I reckon that if you're the kind of person who wanted the stainless steel version, you were probably eyeing the Series 6 anyways, because you most likely, in my opinion, want the best of the best. But wait, you may ask, what about the built-in ECG in the digital crown and the blood oxygen reader? Now the ECG reader that Apple introduced not too long ago is a pretty nifty feature, and honestly, it's relatively accurate enough where a person wearing it could reliably bring up this information to a trained and certified doctor, and that could start a conversation to preventative care. The Apple Watch SE not having this may be a downer to some, but for those who are just looking for a bona fide Apple Watch, that feature isn't necessarily going to be important to them, and cutting that may have saved a good amount of cost from the bill of materials. Now when it comes to the blood oxygen reader, missing out on that comparatively isn't as, to me, as significant as missing out on the ECG reader, because Apple's take on it by having the reading go straight through your wrist isn't as accurate as it could be done traditionally via having a machine read it through your finger instead. If anything, adding this feature to the Series 6 was just really done to add on to Apple's roster or list of toolkits in their big push towards pharmaceutical tech. Now that we've addressed what we're missing out of, let's talk about what you're getting, and that's a whole of a lot for $279. Or $309, depending what size you choose. As mentioned a bit earlier, you're getting Apple's larger rounded edge full display. That's 30% larger compared to the Series 3. You're still getting that 1000 nits of brightness that's available on every Apple Watch since the Series 1. Remember folks, that 30% brighter display for outdoors on the Series 6 is only when your Apple Watch is in that quote, not active mode, end quotes, meaning when your wrist is down and not brought up to engage with. It has the S5 processor, that's the same one in my Series 5, 32 gigs of storage compared to the Series 3, which has a measly 8. I feel like this isn't brought up enough because if you store your music locally on your Apple Watch to listen, that can really burn through quite quickly. Bluetooth 5 out of the box. And to top off on all of that, you're still getting the regular heart rate and reader notification from your Apple Watch. So there's still some kind of baseline health monitoring system. If your heart rate is, outside your realm of normalcy, your Apple Watch will alert you. Now perhaps most importantly, how does it function as a smartwatch, let alone an Apple Watch? I'd say it does so pretty well. When we look at the core demands or wants that we require from a smartwatch, which is getting notifications, making contactless payments, tracking your fitness, and also being able to tell the time, it does all of that very well. The Apple Watch SE delivers all of this at a much better and more compelling price point than the Series 6, which is going to be hard for a lot of people to stomach, and also it delivers more value per dollar than the Series 3, which again came out in 2017. For mobile payments, it's super easy. Just double click the side button and it shows you your list of cards that you can choose from. Comparatively, if you use one of the newer Apple phones with Face ID, right? you'd have to have it scan your face, and since we're all wearing face masks, after you tap it, you have to enter in a passcode like a caveman. It delivers notifications promptly to you, and you also can customize what you want to have delivered to you in the Apple Watch settings app. If you really spend time there, you can get the most of your experience, in my opinion. And when it comes to fitness tracking, I have not seen a single wearable from any maker mess this up. Apple does it really well, and that's pretty much the bar everyone has to meet, honestly. Also, it being a watch, it can tell time. Now, it lacks an always-on display, and for me, I find that important, but for most people, if they aren't willing to justify that jump from $279 to $399, then you'll be fine missing out on the feature. Now, the new watchOS 7 gives Apple Watch in general a much snappier experience. I compare this with my SE as well as to the Series 5, and I can tell animations are just a little bit quicker. Rip in peace 3D Touch. It's now gone on both a software and hardware level. On the Series 6 and the Apple Watch SE version, there is no 3D Touch built into the device. And funny enough, because I own a Series 5, it's been disabled, as I mentioned, in a software level. So even though my watch has the hardware to support it, it's just gone. I primarily bike whenever the air quality is suitable, and I found that the tracking to be pretty accurate. And its inclusion of an always-on altimeter is a nice complement for more comprehensive data tracking, both on and off the exercise mode. This won't be a device that will finally convince you to work out, but its incessant nagging will probably keep you from falling off it. Yes, I know I didn't close my rings today, but I was very busy. I can do it tomorrow. But that little sister approach of nagging and encourage you to finish your rings actually did work for me. Near the end of the day, if I was really close to closing my rings, I actually would get up to do a brisk walk around the neighborhood. So in the end, who is in control of who? Voice dictation works really well most of the time. The only issue is if you use a piece of jargon that you don't really think about, or you blub up on one word, your whole sentence falls apart and you have to restart it from the beginning. And then after that, you start reading out to it like you're reading a manuscript. The aluminum finish of the Apple Watch SE is about the same it's ever been. It's still kind of more fragile as compared to the stainless steel variants. And with that, you kind of have to be conscious of your decisions and your actions. So be mindful. Battery life is still 18 hours, what Apple considers all day. It has 30% faster charging in general, both to 80 as well as to 100%, which means you can more quickly top off in the morning after wearing to sleep, essentially meaning not longer battery life, but less downtime in between. Speaking about wearing it to sleep, watchOS 7 brings in new sleep monitoring systems to help better calibrate your sleep, and the Apple Watch actually encourages you to have a more set rhythm, which is actually healthier for you. And then it finally wakes you up in the morning with a very noticeable but quiet to others haptic touch. Now, prior to watchOS 7, I actually always got around to this by just setting a regular alarm on my Apple Watch, right? And then turning on theater mode and then turning off the silence mode. So with that, my screen is off the entire night and I wake up to a nice prominent haptic touch. Okay, so last notes. These are gonna be some pro tips that I've learned and noticed from using an Apple Watch, is that you should regularly or semi-regularly clean the underside of your Apple Watch as well as your watch band, honestly, because your dry to wet can attach itself to your silicone watch band or your Apple Watch and it becomes pressing against your skin. And with enough time, it actually can produce a rash, which is pretty annoying to get rid of. And also in the Apple Watch settings, set your haptic touch to prominent. I found that without it on, I sometimes would actually miss some notifications when I'm out and about. But with prominent, I never missed out on anything because it was like a noticeable tap on my wrist. That's all, folks. The Apple Watch SE is a really compelling buy in my opinion because it delivers the most comprehensive list of features that would matter to the most people in a very acceptable price point. It will handily tackle anything you throw at it through your day-to-day usage. And if you ever get the opportunity to go to an Apple store or any store and maybe not touch it, but see the difference between Apple's newer Apple Watch displays and the Series 3, you immediately start appreciating every day after you buy it that you can see your media, text, emails, whatever on a larger, more fluid display. Yes, the Apple Watch SE does start at $199, but just because it's the cheapest Apple Watch doesn't mean it's the best value. If you're really looking for value here, I think it really is in the Apple Watch SE. Or if you can, snag up a Series 5 or 4 if anyone's still selling it. Those are still plenty good. Preferably, if you can, get a new out of the box, from retailers trying to get rid of it. But once those are all gone, definitely check out the Apple Watch SE. This is What to Tech. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. There's a swoosh sign here, which means that this is the Nike version. That is the only hardware difference. Tell that to your friends and watch them no longer become your friends. Bye.